If I told you, beginning of the season, on the same day that Thibaut got injured with an ACL, Militao got injured with an ACL, and Mbappe rejected us for the 700th time, that Real Madrid would have won the league, with 95 points, with only one defeat throughout the whole season, and that Real Madrid will be playing the Champions League final in Wembley, what would you have said? I can't believe that we're here, but we're here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Champions League final preview between Real Madrid and Dortmund. Before I go any further, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. As you guys can see, I am back with the consistent videos. So don't forget to subscribe, man. We're getting close. I feel like I keep saying this, and I feel like whenever I say it, I take a break. I say it, and I take a break, and I say it, and I take a break. But we are close to 20,000 subscribers. So don't forget to subscribe right this second if you're new to the channel. And if you're already here, don't forget to, of course, like it now. Let's be honest, let's be real. This is nowhere near the final which anyone expected. Beginning of the campaign, in the round of 16, in the quarterfinals, and in the semi-finals. But it's two teams that will be going head-to-head once again. The last 4 matches, Real Madrid has won 4 times. But of course, everyone remembers the iconic and the unfortunate tragic tie in the 12-13 season where Dortmund beat Real Madrid in the semi-finals and qualified to the final at Wembley, ironically enough, the same exact season where Leo scored 4 goals in that first leg. But now it's completely different. It's now one game, one final. And as you guys know, Real Madrid has never ever lost a Champions League final in their history. The lineups for both teams is going to be quite predictable and expected and quite similar to what we saw in the semi-finals for both teams. Starting with Dortmund. The most predictable lineup for Dortmund is, of course, Kobel in goal, who's been exceptional so far in this campaign. A back four of Rice on the right back, Matheson as a left back, the 2 centre-back pairing of Schlotterbeck and Hummels, the 2 double pivot role of Sabitzer and Emre Can, the captain. And of course, on the left-hand side, you've got Sancho. On the right-hand side, you've got Adeyemi. As a 10, you've got Brandt. And up front, you've got the target man. You've got the number 9, Füllkrug. Füllkrug? I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's the big man Füllkrug. With Real Madrid, it's going to be the exact same 11 that you saw at home against Bayern, except for 2 changes. And that starts off with, rather than Lunin, who's been starting every single knockout game, you'll be seeing Thibaut back in action. Left back Fernand Mendy, right back Dani Carvajal, and the 2 centre-back pairing, of course, Rudiger and Nacho Fernandez. Rather than Tchouameni, you've got Camavinga as a 6. Cruz will be playing his final game for Real Madrid as a left centre mid. Right centre mid is, of course, Fede Valverde as a 10, and he will be playing his first game against his former team, Jude Bellingham, and of course the 2 attacking pairings, the 2 Brazilian, number 11 and number 7. You've got Rodrigo and you've got Vinicius Jr. So, how can Dortmund win this game? First of all, it starts with the defensive end, and we witnessed it against PSG, where they conceded 0 goals. Against Atleti, they were very solid at the second leg in the second half, and of course against PSV they were quite solid. But let's concentrate against PSG, where the back four was extremely solid, and it started with Kobel, who's been exceptional this season. Dortmund over the past pretty much decade, ever since Weidenfeller and Kobel and all these goalkeepers, they've always had inconsistencies with the goalkeepers. Every single goalkeeper over the past 10 years, you felt like a fumble was about to happen. But with Kobel this season, it's nowhere near. It's nowhere near. He's been as reliant and as consistent as possible. And in addition to that, it's the 2 centre-back of Schlotterbeck and Hummels, who's been literally running back the years. It felt like we're watching prime Hummels, the goal against Paris Saint-Germain, the threat on set pieces, whether that's the corners or the free kicks. And his partner next to him is Schlotterbeck, who's extremely intelligent to read any sort of pressure and any sort of danger heading his way. I feel like his IQ for his age of 24 years old, bro, very, very, very underrated. It feels like watching a vet next to Hummels. It doesn't feel like we're watching someone who's at 24, 25 years old. It feels like we're watching someone who's been playing more than one Champions League, more than one Champions League semi-final, more than one Champions League finals, and you could see it in him. And of course, Maatsen has been extremely crucial in literally overlapping, making those forward runs, who's been helping the goals against Atleti, and that's why the key of Dani Carvajal and most importantly Fede Valverde, they have to track that runs and those inside runs on that right hand side. Sancho, of course, we've seen it, the X factor against Paris Saint-Germain, both in the first leg and the second leg, creating those runs, creating and making any sort of attack out of nothing. And Ferland Mendy has to be careful, because we saw Ferland Mendy in that first leg where Leroy Sané went from the left-hand side to the right-hand side in the second half and of course scored that goal out of nothing. So Ferland Mendy has to be careful. But then again, Sané and Sancho, very different profiles. Sané is someone who likes to run with the ball, who likes to make the runs behind the defender, and of course taking it and running with it and trying to find any sort of goal scoring option. With Sancho, it's quite different. Sancho is a bit more ball on the feet, make those dribbles, and trying to find someone who's making the runs behind. With Real Madrid, they've got all sort of X factors. I'm about to make a video ranking every single Real Madrid player from 1 to 25, everyone who's played this season. And bro, from 1 to 7, it's so difficult to make a ranking. Who deserves to be above who? And that's what this season we've seen from Real Madrid, especially from even Vinicius Jr., who ever since coming back from injury and adapting to that role of playing as a striker, he has been absolute on tear and absolute on a Ballon d'Or form. Jude Bellingham also, ever since come back from the injury, has also stepped up massively. Toni Kroos, who's been dictating and controlling the game with his passing, with his IQ, and of course Fede Valverde being the heart and the soul of Real Madrid. Real Madrid can hurt Dortmund in many different ways, but it starts with Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr. rotating, whether someone who's going to be playing on the right hand side, or whether it's someone who's going to be playing on the left hand side, or whether someone who's going to be making the runs behind the defense. Because we saw that in the first leg against Dortmund and in the first leg against City and the second leg against City. Because the second goal that we scored against City at the Etihad came from the runs from behind. Vinicius Jr. making the run from the behind, finding Fede Valverde, and of course Rodrigo making the movement on the left hand side. And that's what we've seen from Rodrigo this season, especially in the Champions League against Dortmund, against City, where he doesn't really drift on the right hand side as much as we saw last season. He loves to go on the left hand side because that is his natural position. This is where he can make the most of danger, and this is where he's the most dangerous as well. One thing that I learned from Dortmund, both games against Atleti and against PSG, that there will be space on the wings. Dortmund don't like to really double team, triple team their fullbacks, especially when Barcola had the ball, especially when Dembele had the ball, especially when Samuel Lino had the ball in that first leg. We are going to be seeing a lot of, hopefully, from Vinicius Jr. and most importantly from Fede Valverde on the right hand side. But it starts with the fullbacks making the overlap runs. Mendy and Dani Carvajal has to overlap and has to help on that width, because the moment they do, more space will be created and it will lead to the pocket being open, where Jude Bellingham, similar to Griezmann, because Griezmann had an exceptional first leg against Dortmund in that first leg, and of course Dembele, similar fashion in that second leg. But then again, Dembele, whenever he got the ball, whenever he was inside the box, all the finishes went where? Literally everywhere, off target. Jude Bellingham is quite different. Jude Bellingham is quite clutch, and Jude Bellingham is quite crucial. But that was Dembele, who literally missed about 3 to 4 clear-cut chances against Dortmund in that second leg. We've got Jude Bellingham. So if you find him inside the pocket, inside the space, or outside the box, you will get a goal. And I'm very confident Jude will score against his former team. But trust me, he's not celebrating. I think this game can go both ways. If Dortmund gets that first I think this game can go in both ways. If Dortmund can get that early goal within the first 15 to 20 minutes, the game will be very, very, very difficult to break down. Because we witnessed it against PSG. Whenever they got the first goal, they love to defend with 9 and 10 men, and of course rely on the counter attacks. Real Madrid need to be careful. But then again, I'm very confident that we will get that early goal, and the moment that we do, the game will open up and we'll get the second and the third goal. For that reason, my prediction for this game is a 3-0 Real Madrid. Real Madrid will win 3-0. I'm expecting an early goal, and from there the game will open up completely. Dortmund will start attacking and will take advantage and get that second goal and get that third goal in the second half. And I feel like defensively, I don't look at Dortmund, and again, this might backfire completely. I might have jinxed this team, but I don't see Sancho making and threatening the same way he did against PSG to the way we are going to be seeing against Real Madrid, because I feel like Ferland Mendy will have him on lock. The one person that does scare me is the pace of Adeyemi, because we saw that against PSG, and I feel like with Dani Carvajal, this season, he has struggled against speedy and tricky wingers. And of course, Adeyemi being one of them. So the only person that I'm really worried about is Adeyemi and Brandt in that 10 and that pocket space as a 10. But I'm quite confident with the midfield of Toni Kroos, Camavinga, and of course Fede Valverde will pretty much close down any sort of danger coming from that midfield of Dortmund. But like I said, it will be a 3-0 to Real Madrid. Jude will score, Vinicius will score, and Real Madrid will win the 15th, and Marco Reus will unfortunately finish his career with 0 Champions Leagues at Dortmund. But guys, this has been my prediction. Put down in the comments how you feel the game will be played, what you think the matchups are, and how you think whether Real Madrid or Dortmund can win this game. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And the next video, I will see you with my season review of Real Madrid. It's either going to be a disappointing review, or I'm going to be celebrating an iconic double and a 15th Champions League trophy. Trust me, it's going to be the second. Peace!